Hello, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, so this is Emmanuel Nakola, and give me a moment and listen up. So, 4 days ago, a friend of mine, whom we've lost touch for some quite long, like I think 10 years now, we finally got in touch. And later on, I made a post online, and he replied and said, "Hey, are you a pastor?" And I was like, No, I'm not a pastor, but I am a Christian and I preach the gospel. And he said, "Oh wow, that sounds cool. I think you can actually record yourself teaching or preaching, whatever, so that I can also be able to understand the gospel." I was like, "Okay, that sounds like a good idea. So let's get into it." So I'm doing this video to trying to explain what the gospel is, or rather explaining what the gospel is. It might not really exhaustively, unpack the whole thing, but I think I can just major on the basics of what the whole of this thing is all about. So let's get into it. So where do we start? So thousands of years ago, God created the world, and God created a perfect world. God created a world that he himself even looked and be like, "Yo, look at what I've created. So awesome and amazing, perfect and clean." But moments shortly after he has created the universe and the world and everything in it, including human beings, something happened. Something terrible happened. And Adam and Eve were given instructions here and there inside that garden, and then Satan came, deceived them, and then they disobeyed God. And then something terrible happened. Everything in the creation went disarray, and sin got into the human heart, and disobedience became their nature, as well as corruption. So this is exactly it. So everybody who will be born from then on up to now is inherently a sinner. Like it's natural. It's not like something you have to learn. You just grow up into it, and because it's actually inside every human being's heart, in as much as you register into this planet. So God looked and he devised a plan and be like, "No, I'm not gonna allow these people to just live on with this nature all along until forever." So he decided to step down from the throne. Imagine God stepping down from the throne. So Jesus came approximately 4,000 years later, after what happened on that garden. So Jesus stepped into the planet and he lived amongst people so that he can be able to atone to the human sins as the ultimate sacrifice for redemption. So that's exactly what happened. So he gave himself up so that the punishment that you and I deserve, because of our inherent sinful nature, the very thing that the Bible says the wages of sin is death. So the same death that we deserved as a punishment now was going to be laid on Jesus, or rather was laid on Jesus on the cross. So imagine somebody who's never done any offense, was guilty. Was not guilty, was innocent, and us who are guilty full time are now, like, there's an exchange, there's a transaction in there. Those who are guilty are now going to be innocent, because the one who is innocent is ultimately being punished. That's what Jesus did. That is the love of God for humanity. So Jesus took the punishment that we deserve. You and I deserve death because of everything about our nature and our character. So, but Jesus gave himself up, or rather God decided that Jesus will die for our place. So we made an offense, we actually went astray, but Jesus paid the fine. So that is the gospel. So now when we believe that, when we understand that, we now believe it. We believe that Jesus took the sin of the entire humanity on the cross, so that nobody who will believe in him will have to die for the sins that they have committed in the past. Now that one will lead to everybody who will believe in it to know that they are now justified and accepted by God because of what Jesus did on the cross. So we now have the righteousness that was in Jesus now as our own. So we do not need to earn for it, because it has already been given freely by God. So that is the gospel. Believe it and you will experience transformation and freedom, ultimately redemption. Thank you.